Never let anybody see you sweat. So I was born in New York City, and I lived there until I was 8 years old. I realized that I was a much better talker than I was a listener. I don't know what to say, I just don't like what you're saying.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I ended up going to law school at Georgetown, and I was a prosecutor for Janet Reno. I loved it because it was so raw. Were you cheating on her?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All rise.
Our show will be a mixture of education, I think you're misreading the law a little bit, and entertainment. My main goal is justice and the law. That's been my legacy, and the legacy I hope to continue into the future with the show.
Janet Lorenzo claims she needed surgery after the defendant's chihuahua bit her lip at a yoga retreat. Kimberly Taylor says her dog never attacked anyone before, and the plaintiff wanted her lips done anyway.
Ms. Lorenzo, you are suing Ms. Taylor for $7,500 for injuries you sustained at her retreat. Tell me what happened.
I was at a wellness and yoga event at her house.
Oh, it's at her house?
At her house, yes. So she does these pretty regularly. She invites a lot of little local vendors. Like she has like a candle maker and a tarot reader that come pretty regularly. This was my first time getting to attend the event, and the whole day she'd had her dogs kind of running around.
How many dogs?
3 dogs. She had a big one, like a shepherd, like a medium-sized one, like kind of a mutt.
They're all rescue mixes.
Okay, go on.
So the dog wandered into the yoga studio, and then while I was in downward facing dog, which is a very vulnerable position, right? Your hands are planted, your feet are planted, you're not really looking, and then I kind of saw the dog like approaching me, and I was like, oh, this cute little Chihuahua mix is gonna come over and give me a little kiss, right?
Kind of angry dogs.
Yeah, he bit my lip. He bit my lip really bad. Like I started bleeding, and Kimberly immediately rushed me to the kitchen. I was bleeding, and Kimberly was like, here's some ice, here's a cloth, because I was bleeding a lot. And she told me it was nothing, it was not a big deal, and like I wanted to be invited to this event for a long time, so I kind of talked myself down, and I was like, it's fine, it's fine. Later, I was having pain and still having like bleeding, and so I went to the ER.
And what happened?
The doctor looked at my injury and told me that I would have scarring if I did not go to a plastic surgeon.
Okay.
And so the next day, I went to a plastic surgeon who recommended a laser treatment and then like a small surgical correction so that then I wouldn't have any scarring and so that then I wouldn't have any irregularity with my lip.
Asymmetry where you could tell that something had happened.
Yes.
All right. Did you discuss that with Ms. Taylor?
Yes, I did send her texts updating her the whole way through.
Okay. You have submitted into evidence a picture. When was that picture taken?
That was when I was in the emergency room.
Okay, so this was a couple of hours later.
Yes.
2 or 3 hours, 5, 7 to 3 hours later, that's how it looks.
Yes.
Okay. You have a picture of her dog?
Yes, it is Exhibit B.
Why do you have a picture of her dog?
Because I wanted to show the dog and show you that that is not a threatening dog. It's not a dog where if it's approaching you, you think it's going to bite you.
What are you worried about? That I was going to say you should have known the dog was going to bite you? Like, what did you think someone's thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was relevant.
I see that you went to see the doctor on the 15th.
Yes.
And the doctor then recommended a series of lasers.
Yes. So all of this was done to address, prevent scarring along the vermilion border of my lip.
The vermilion border is what? The edge of your lip?
Yes.
Okay.
And then if you look at Exhibit F, that is the conversation that I had with Kimberly.
The doctor said it's a lip laceration and should heal, but recommended I see a plastic surgeon. I'm glad you went. Let me know what they say. Urgent care doctor said sooner is better to prevent scarring. Of course, take care of yourself. Keep me posted. When I saw it Sunday, it looked small, but I trust you to do what feels right medically. And then she tells you about the surgery. You wish her well. A month later, she says the total cost for treatment came out to be $7,500. I'd like to discuss reimbursement. To which you respond, this seems a bit extreme, Janet. This is the first time I'm hearing about covering the cost of your treatment. Did you think she was telling you everything that was going on medically just because you're good pals or something?
Look, I saw it as a freak accident. My dog has never bit anyone before. I'm very selective about who I invite to my events. This was not a business event. This was just a casual event. I invite people I know personally. I don't make them sign a liability waiver. These are my friends.
Maybe you should.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
But also maybe you shouldn't have 3 dogs roaming around while...
Well, they've never bit anyone before. It's usually a lot of the same women. They know
I don't want a
them.
dog running around me when I'm doing a downward dog anyway.
They were outside. They weren't in the room the whole time.
But they
Rocky-
were allowed to come freely into the room where people are doing yoga.
They were. Usually the people like it, and they just add a nice energy to the room. The dogs are friendly. They
I
maybe
don't know.
sniff
I think
you
a dog
when
is
they...
distracting. I do yoga. I love dogs. I think a dog would be super distracting to the position I'm trying to hold while I'm trying to look at the dog being cute. You know, I mean, it's like...
Well, it was a free yoga class. Remember, this was still a private
understand.
party at my house with my friends.
Why do you think you wouldn't be responsible for her injuries?
First of all, I think that she's just greatly exaggerating. She's texted me before that she's wanted to have her lips done.
It's not like she's suing you for pain and suffering. She's suing you for exactly the bill that she had to pay a doctor to correct the
Well, but if
problem.
you look at Exhibit A,
Coming up on Justice for the People.
What do you think about this had to do with her wanting to make her own lips bigger?
I think they look more symmetrical now. I think she evened out the other side of her lip to match the fullness on the side that was bitten.
And later,
On Saturday, there was a fire in the same room as my violin, and the violin was completely destroyed.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of Janet Lorenzo, who blames Kimberly Taylor for a dog bite on her lip.
Who's in blue? You, right? Because it's your phone.
Yes.
Oh my God, did you hear about Melissa? Wait, no, what about her? She got work done. What? LOL. Like what kind of work? Lips and a little filler, apparently. I didn't expect that from her at all. Though honestly, if I ever did anything, it'd probably be my lips. LOL, really? Yeah, maybe, just a passing thought. So I'm looking at the picture of her lips on the day of the injury. Those lips someone else would pay $5,000 for.
Right.
So those are her natural lips.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Right. So what do you think about this had to do with her wanting to make her own lips bigger?
I think they look more symmetrical now. I think she evened out the other side of her lip to match the fullness on the side that was bitten because she'd always wanted to do that. She talked about being unhappy with the
This is a little
asymmetry.
like when someone hits somebody from behind and says, that damage was already there when you don't, you know. So what are you saying? Are you
I'm saying that it was a
she
tiny
had, wait,
scratch.
stop. Are you saying that she had asymmetrical lips beforehand? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's what she was saying.
No,
that
that's not what she was
wanted.
saying. In that text, she just says, honestly, if I ever did anything, it'd probably be my lips. LOL, really? Yeah, maybe just a passing thought. Is there something else about symmetry anywhere?
Yes, a surgical lip contour and refinement.
No. Have you ever, okay. Attending to it right away is important to the person whose face got bit. See, to that person, they don't want to have a scar that then a surgeon can't fix. The surgeon himself told her, listen, you should take care of this like sooner rather. First, the doctor at the urgent care said, you need to see a plastic surgeon, which was great advice. Then she sees a plastic surgeon and he says, you know, you're going to scar. This is what's going to happen. It'll heal a little bit, but it's better to take care of this before it scars. That's what his report says. And then, yeah, maybe he's trying to sell her some stuff.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I
I know,
think that it was
but
excessive.
stop. But at the end of the day, that's the risk you take when your dog bites somebody at your house. You see? Like, you want me to say, oh, Judge, come on, she's overdoing it. And then you want me to say, oh, Judge, come on, the doctor's overdoing it. I know, because I've had scarring and I've had children who have hurt themselves. I know that the scarring is something you worry about, and if scarring bothers you. If you want to have a scar, it's different.
I mean, it says it didn't cross the vermilion line of her lip, so it was just a little tiny nick
I'm
on this
sorry,
top
lady,
part of her
where
lip.
is your medical degree from?
Well, that's what it said on the report of what
It
this...
said, did you read the report?
Yeah, the ER report.
No, and the ER report sends her to a plastic surgeon. Did you read the plastic
Right,
surgeon's
if she
report?
says, I'm really anxious about scarring, of course the
I'm
urgent
sorry,
care
you read,
person...
where in the report does she say, I'm really anxious about scarring? Did you read the doctor's words? I'm asking you, did you read? Of course she's anxious about scarring.
Yes.
I'd be anxious about scarring if I had a bite on my lip. It's your face. It's not your ankle, your wrist. You know, it's not. It's your face. So in the doctor's report, the doctor says, you know what? I'm not even going to paraphrase. I'm just going to read it. Given the facial location of the injury, again, it's not, her knee, the patient was advised that there is likely to be scarring at the site of the injury. We recommend cosmetic surgery to prevent any further scarring. And then he says, facial scars, particularly those involving the lip and the vermilion border, may heal unpredictably and can result in subtle but permanent cosmetic changes despite appropriate initial care. The potential role of fractional laser resurfacing was discussed as a mean of improving scar texture and blending. And then he tells her what he thinks she should do, and she does it. 'Cause it's her face! You see?
But that's what plastic surgeons do. Have you been? They've told me all the things in my
I'd
body
like to
that need
ask
be
you something.
removed.
If you went to her house and her dog or cat bit you on the lip, would you maybe go see a plastic surgeon and worry about maybe how you're gonna look?
No, I've rescued dogs for years. I have lots of pets. You get little scratches, little nicks. They
On
heal
your
on their
face?
own. I mean, I've bitten my lip. I've had cold sores. It's got a little. It covers.
Yeah,
it
that's
just
not the
makes
same
your
as
lip
this.
fuller.
That's not
If
the
anything,
same
it's
as a
like,
fang ripping your lip. That's not the same.
Does that little dog look like? It's not. The
No, I
pit
don't
will
care
look
what the dog
bitter.
looks like. Why are you both so concerned over what the dog looks like?
Because the
I
teeth
don't
are
care what
little.
the dog looks like.
What I'm
the
saying is I
dog
don't
bit
think it
her
was-
lip. Lady, the dog bit her lip. I have two pieces of advice for you, okay? One, I need you to land back on the planet Earth. Your dog bit her lip. She's out $7,500. You got to pay her. That's my verdict. But two, if you're going to invite 1,000 people to your home, or however many it is, 20 at a time or whatever it is, for an event, okay, and you want your dogs to be able to roam free and bite people without consequences, you best have them sign a waiver.
They've never
Verdict
bitten
for the
people.
plaintiff, $7,500.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $7,500.
Put your dogs away.
I guess I won't be seeing you at any more of my events.
Exit this way, please. Make sure you grab all of your belongings.
Coming up,
He really was quite dismissive of me and really disrespectful when I told him I wanted to take this job. He was really doubting if I could do it.
you're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. Priscilla Helms claims her ex sparked a fire with his gaming equipment that destroyed her vintage violin. David Forston says their apartment building had electrical problems, so he's not to blame.
Ms. Helms, you're suing your former boyfriend, Mr. Forston, for $1,600 for destroying your violin. How long were you two dating?
We were dating for 3 years, and we were living together in Virginia Beach. He's a gamer. This has always been a point of
Meaning he
tension.
plays video games?
He plays video games, and eventually we just got to the point where I think he just loves video games more than me.
Okay.
I got a new job opportunity in the DC area. It was a pretty quick turnaround. I'm an educational consultant, and this was a really big opportunity for me. And ultimately what happened was I ended up moving really quickly.
What's really quickly?
I only had a little over a week. Then he really was quite dismissive of me and really disrespectful when I told him I wanted to take this job.
What did he say or do that made you think that?
He told me that I wasn't qualified, that it was gonna be too rough on me in the big city, that I couldn't handle it.
And then what happens?
So we get in this big argument where he is still trying to talk me into staying, to giving up the job, like not following my dream. I only had a couple days before my assignment started, so I just packed up my car and I went up to DC, and I just really brought like enough stuff for a short amount of time, knowing that I was gonna come back.
And one of the things that you left behind was?
My vintage violin.
Okay. According to you, the environment that he creates there while he's gaming is a hazardous environment. Explain what you meant by that.
Our building's a little bit old, so it was risky because he would have lights for his streaming, and I was always at him saying, like, you can't plug everything into this one outlet. You need to get, a different like power converter or power strip. Like, it was risky, and it was looking like it could cause a fire from all the stuff he kept plugged in to do his gaming.
Okay. And what would he say?
He would say, I'll do it tomorrow, next week.
So then what happens?
So when I'm up in DC, I text him saying, hey, I'm gonna come back, get the rest of my stuff. I'm gonna get the violin on, this was Monday, I text him, I'm gonna come on Friday.
Okay, and then what?
And then on Saturday, there was a fire
In the apartment?
In the apartment, and it was in the same room as my violin, and the violin was completely destroyed.
Coming up,
So you thought it would be a magical way to rekindle the romance by having her violin smoked to pieces.
you're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of Priscilla Helms, who was fighting with David Forston over her vintage violin.
Now, what happened? What caused the fire?
So it was with the cord management. There were too many cords. The voltage was too much for the outlet. Outlet couldn't handle it. So that's when led to some sparks, and the rest is kind of history as far as.
How bad was the fire?
It was small. It was just the corner of the room.
Is that the only thing of yours that was destroyed?
Other things were damaged, but the violin's the most important.
Okay, she doesn't care about the other stuff, but she wants you to pay for the violin, and your answer to that is no, I don't have to because.
The apartment building that we were in was notorious for having electrical
What does
issues.
notorious mean to you? Known for that?
Known for, yes.
Right, so did
Yes.
you know that?
Yes, I did.
So if you knew that, why didn't you get off of your gaming behind and go to the store and find a better way to plug everything in so a fire wouldn't happen?
You're right. Absolutely.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Did she dump you when she went to D.C.?
It was kind of leaning that way, Your Honor. I did offer maybe a long distance
So you
option.
thought it would be a magical way to rekindle the romance by having her violin smoked to pieces and then not paying for it?
Your Honor, if I may, I mean, she claims that the violin meant so much to her and it held, a sentimental value to her.
The value of her violin is actually $1,600.
Yes.
Now go on.
I believe if it was that valuable to her and worth that much to her, that would have been one of the first things she packed up.
It's her fault for thinking that you two are still together and she can leave stuff behind in the apartment while she's settling into D.C. and trusting you with it. Is that what you just said? It sounds awful when I repeat it, doesn't it?
That's how it came out as.
Yeah, that is what you just said, okay?
Yes.
Judge Milian's verdict when Justice for the People returns. You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian.
Can I just ask you a question? Whose fault was it?
I mean, I had some conversations with the property manager. They got the maintenance team involved because I believe ultimately it kind of falls on them.
Why does it fall on them?
I don't know if maybe they weren't keeping the building up to code.
I know you're not keeping your plugins to code, but tell me what evidence you
Yes.
have that they're not keeping the building to code.
I'm actually in talks right now. They're
Oh,
gonna
you're still in
provide that with me.
talks?
Yes.
Oh, yes. You're still not done. Just like you were going to go out. I was going to do it that day. I was out there ready, right? Kind of like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
$1,600 verdict for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $1,600.
My advice would just be like, don't date a gamer.
If I may, just play the world's smallest violin.
Exit this way, please. Make sure you grab all of your belongings.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.